Hello, dear polymer clay enthusiast. I'm Michaela from Learn Polymer Clay and I invite you to make faux lampwork beads with me. And we are going to use these beads to make a pair of lovely dangle clay earrings. I'm going to use the great supplies that I've received from Beebeecraft.com. You'll find the links in the description and I encourage you to take a look at their site, and I can tell you, you will find wonderful supplies for jewelry making and I totally recommend them. So I'm going to make a very easy cane. Don't worry, it's a really easy cane. First of all, I conditioned several colors of polymer clay. I conditioned neon pink polymer clay, purple, magenta, lavender, and I don't know, pinkish, other pinkish polymer clay. And also some black polymer clay, and I passed the black polymer clay through a thinner setting of my pasta machine, 6 or 7 of the Atlas pasta machine. And then I rolled the conditioned clay into logs, and some are thinner, as you can see, and some are larger. And I am going to use the thin black sheet of polymer clay to cover these logs of clay with thin sheets of polymer clay, as I said. You have to roll them well to eliminate any air in between the two layers of clay. So I will do this for some of the logs of clay, while for the larger logs I intend to use them as they are, without wrapping them in black polymer clay. So as you can see, I'm putting the log of polymer clay on top of the black sheet of polymer clay. And then I'm rolling the entire sheet on top of the log of clay. Then I measure the end of the wrapping part. I'm trimming off the sides. And then I do my best to cover the log of polymer clay with black polymer clay. And then I will roll the wrapped log on my working table. And I will do this for, as I said, some of the colors, especially the thin polymer clay logs. I'm pinching the two ends of the black polymer clay, and then I will roll the wrapped log on my working table. You have to trim off the ends to have nice ends. And then I will put the colors together. I'm not considering a particular order, but I am working with colors that go well together, and in the same time I'm using colors that are very contrasting with the black polymer clay. And so I cut the wrapped logs in half, and then I use them to put them on top and underneath the two logs of clay, of larger clay that I did not wrap in black polymer clay. And then you'll have to press everything together and remove any air trapped between the logs. And it looks something like this. I'm cutting the cane, so this is the resulting cane, and I'm cutting it in half. I'm going to use the other part for other projects. And for today's project, for the Faux Lampwork beads, I'm doing my best to turn this cane into a triangle cane. So I'm pitching one side, and I'm doing my best to end up with a triangle cane. You'll have to press on the sides, pinch one end of the cane, continue to press on the sides. You could use the roller as well. And in the meantime, I prepared a sheet of polymer clay made of scrap clay from this project. So as you can see, you see some of the colors of clay, of polymer clay that I used in the project, because this is in fact the scrap clay that I passed through the setting number 1 of my Atlas pasta machine. So I removed the first cutout slice, and then I'm going to cut 5 thin slices, and I will put them one next to the other on top of the sheet of polymer clay made out of scrap clay. And then I'm just going to use my roller to flatten the clay. And I think the toughest decision was to choose a cutter to use for this part, because I had, in my opinion, a very beautiful, intricate pattern. So I wasn't sure how I could best make use of this pattern, and I ended up going for using a triangle cutter. So I'm cutting out 2 pieces because I intend to make earrings. Use your blade to lift off the clay from your working table. Press on the cutter, and then after using cutters to cut out your polymer clay pieces, you should take the time and smooth off the edges. And if you do a good job when the clay is still raw, you might not need to sand your pieces after baking, which I prefer to do. And then I decided to use a very small round cutter to make an opening in the middle of the focal piece to add more inches to the piece. And I will do the same for the second bead. Of course, you'll have to smooth off these cutout areas as well. Make sure that your beads look good from the front and from the back as well. And then I just used my dotting tool, and I've made dots on the back of the pieces to make an interesting texture for the back of the beads. And when you are happy with the look of your pieces, you can bake them in the preheated oven for 40 minutes at the recommended temperature. And then I've used the UV resin for the for glass look of the beads. So I put my beads on top of metal cutters, but I have to warn you, it's a little bit difficult to clean them afterwards, so you might consider not using your best cutters, or you might decide to use something else underneath the beads. And I also have to warn you that when you have openings in beads and then you are pouring resin, part of the resin will drip down, so you'll have to be very careful and clean the spillages. And then I used 18 gauge gold color metal wire to make an attaching system. So first I've used round nose pliers to make a loop. Then I put this loop between the two jaws, and I continued to spiral around the first loop, and then I put the spiral inside the opening of the bead, and then I made like a neck from the wire, so that the wire would go to the back, and then I would pull the wire upwards, so it looks like this. Then I would leave a little bit of space, and then I would break the neck of the wire, so I pull the wire to the side. I will use the jaw of the round nose pliers to make a loop, and then I will wrap the end of the wire 3 times around the base, and I will use flash cutters to trim off the excess wire. And in fact, I decided to leave that space between the 3 loops and the beads, because I am going to push these loops against the bead. So I intend to trap the bead inside this system. Don't forget to take care of the loose end and tuck it in. And then I'm going to push on this loop and take it to the front of the bead, and thus my bead is in fact trapped between the spiral in the middle and this attaching loop in the upper side. If you don't want to make earrings, you can attach this focal to a beautiful chain, and of course use a clasp to finish the design. I'm using a clasp that I've received from Beebeecraft on the behalf of our collaboration, and I really like this barrel magnetic clasp. You'll find the link in the description. But I wanted to make dangle earrings, and I use the round nose pliers to make a loop on the other side of the eye pin, and then I used these 2 loops to attach on one side the beautiful rainbow colored ear wire that I received from Beebeecraft and that I really like. And on the other side, I just attached the focal bead with the wire attaching system that I've made. So, as always, I hope that you like this idea. I hope that you like this inspiration and that you will use it in your work with polymer clay. Thank you and stay tuned for more inspiration for your work with polymer clay. Don't forget to push the like button, to share your impressions with me in the comments below, and subscribe to my channel for more inspiration for work with polymer clay. Thank you.